Before I call the Prime Minister, I simply want to say that there was silence, as it should be, on my left for the asking of the question. I expect the same silence for the answer. The Prime Minister has the call. The member will resume his seat. I name the member for Isaacs.
Madam Speaker, I seek leave to move a resolution which has not been moved in this form in the House since 1949. That the House has no further confidence in Madam Speaker. On the grounds, A, that in the discharge of her duties she has revealed serious partiality in favour of government members. B, that she regards herself merely as an instrument of the Liberal Party and not as the custodian of the rights and privileges of elected members of the Parliament. C, that she constantly fails to interpret correctly the standing orders of the House. And D, of gross incompetency in the administration of parliamentary procedure.
Before I call the Leader of the House, I would say to the Leader of Opposition Business that earlier today the Opposition was unable to call a division on a second reading speech because they had one member only in the House. Subsequent to that, they called a division on the question that the bill be agreed to and then called the division off. Then, when we had a division on the third reading and all the members were present, they failed to provide a speaker on the next piece of business, and I suggest they get their own house in order.
Madam Speaker, what has just happened in this House is worthy of suspending standing orders. Never before in the history of the Commonwealth of Australia has someone been named for calling out Madam Speaker. That's what just happened in this House. Under no definition of what is within House practice or the history or anything that has happened in this parliament since 1901 has anyone claimed that the words Madam Speaker or Mr Speaker were unparliamentary. And yet not only he didn't just get warned, he didn't just get thrown out, he got named for calling you Madam Speaker. Yesterday we had a member of parliament thrown out for laughing. Madam Speaker, we have spent months watching you laugh at every joke from the ministers at the expense of members of the opposition. But somehow that is an appropriate way to conduct the role. Madam Speaker, I don't dispute what you said before about the fact that there are times in this chamber when things are cooperative. And the example you gave this morning, you articulated in a way that I would not disagree with one bit. But I do disagree with your decision to make that argument from the chair before the Leader of the House decides whether or not to grant leave. Because the comments you made, Madam Speaker, were reasonable comments for someone on either side of the chamber to make, but not reasonable if you're meant to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The fact that this is a stunt, Madam Speaker, is so clearly indicated by the fact that the Manager of Opposition Business came into the chamber with a prepared speech, which he then read from throughout his 10-minute contribution to the House. The Manager of Opposition Business has been building for this since the first day that you were elected Speaker. And I would remind him that when you were elected Speaker on November the 12th last year, the Manager of Opposition Business said, "When they all return to Hogwarts, Dumbledore is gone and Dolores Umbridge is now in charge of the school." From the first day that you were Speaker, the Manager of Opposition Business and his cohorts on the front bench, like the member for Grayndler, the member for Isaacs, the member for Sydney, the member for Ballarat, have been deliberately trying to create an issue around the speakership by being rude, by being aggressive, by behaving quite intolerably badly towards a woman in the chair.